Hello my friends, are you ready for Bundesliga Matchday number 4? Here are the best predictions of the Bundesliga and the best Acca at the end, as you know. Before we start, make sure you press the like button and subscribe to this channel if you want the best predictions and betting tips on YouTube. Thanks for your support. And because I'm the only channel on YouTube who is really honest and sticks to his word, I will show you what happened last game day and let's have a recap. There's a reason why other YouTube channels don't track their records, because they are not profitable or good anyway. And I was not really good last game day. As you can see, I only had 3 correct out of 9 three ways, but ask yourself, it was a really hard and tough game day. But anyway, you can see I made 5 bets and 2 out of them were winners. And one of them was a draw, exact correct score of Frankfurt versus Cologne. So I might profit with these bets at the end because I bet on value bets and high odds, and that's the way you make profit. Unfortunately, no profit in the Accas this game day, but you have to be aware that the odds were 6.9 here, so you can't expect to win them every time, so no problem here. And I also lost my high Asian handicap -1 Acca with odds of 82, but no worries, we will win this from day to day, and even if we win it once a season, we make a lot of profit with that. But still, after 3 game days, I'm way better than someone else on betting on Bundesliga, because at the Oddspedia YouTube channel, Ronan was betting on a Dortmund win versus Heiddenheim and was betting on Union Berlin versus Leipzig. Both teams to score, so his Acca broke, and if we would have betted at these bets as single bets, we still made loss of 1.2. And as I was betting 2 Accas here, I'm fair to tell you that I made 4 units loss in this Accas, and so let's keep on and improve it on this game day. And the Bundesliga is back on game day number 4 with a real good game between Bayern Munich and Leverkusen, and they are both first in the standings. Leverkusen had more goals in their games, but it's that what we call a top game. And let's have a look first at the odds. We see that Bayern Munich at home has odds of 1.6 around. And the odds on Leverkusen are like dropping a bit, but there have been some problems at the German national team, because the former Bayern Munich coach Hansi Flick was sacked, and the players of Bayern Munich were horrible in the game against Japan. So they might be a bit troubled in their mind, and I won't really bet on Bayern Munich here. I would also not bet on Leverkusen here, because in a normal game, as you saw in the past, Bayern Munich was really good at home against Bayern Leverkusen, and they should not lose at home against them. But anyway, in this recent results of Leverkusen, anything is possible, even a win for them in Munich, but I don't think so. My result correct score would be 2-1 for Bayern Munich, so there's not really an interesting bet here. Maybe I will bet prior to the game, 5 minutes before the game starts, or even live, so make sure to ring the notification bell if you don't want to miss my live bets in this game or any others. I would would make a video and you will be notified. The only interesting thing I see here is in the first half that we see a draw at halftime, which is paid with odds of 2.75. I really like these high odds because Leverkusen should give Bayern a hard fight, at least in the first half, and then these odds of 2.75 are way better than anything else. On Saturday we have 6 games, 5 in the afternoon and 1 at the evening, which is not really a top game between Bochum and Frankfurt, but let's start in the afternoon. With Cologne hosting Hoffenheim and being favorite of 2.25, no consideration about betting on Cologne after not having won one of the first 3 games, and Hoffenheim winning 2 games out of 3. So very easy to recognize that there is no value on Cologne as a favorite, but there's a lot of value on the higher odds here on Hoffenheim and a draw, because Hoffenheim really had some good matches against Wolfsburg and Heiddenheim. Okay, Heidenheim was not really impressive, but winning against Wolfsburg is really a good result, and Cologne managed to draw against Frankfurt, but they lost against Wolfsburg. And so I don't understand the odds, only because Cologne is at home. This is not a reason to bet on them. Anyway, we get great odds on Hoffenheim, double chance, maybe 1.62, but I prefer draw no bet on Hoffenheim, 2.2 here, and this is my bet here in this game. Second game between Mainz and Stuttgart. Also, these odds make not really much sense if we have a look at the standing. That Stuttgart made really impressive home matches so far, and scoring 5 goals against a really good team like Freiburg. On the other hand, Mainz only scored twice and didn't win a game so far. So no reason to bet on Mainz as a winner. Same situation here. More value at this very strong Stuttgart team so far in this season. 1.9 also is great here for betting on Stuttgart. Leipzig against Augsburg. If we have odds of 1.2 on a favorite, it's never ever a bet, as we've seen in the recent Dortmund games. Betting on small favorite bets like this only break your Acca and costs you money in the long run. And so we have to watch if we can bet on the underdog here, but is Augsburg worth putting money on? Not in this game and not in my opinion, because if you want me to bet the correct score, I'm going for 3-1, and the only consideration is Augsburg able to score at Leipzig, but you have to get really good odds for that, and 1.75 is not good enough for that. So let's go ahead and ignore this game, as we have a clear favorite against a minor team like Augsburg. You can't win a lot, and you only risk a lot if the favorite is not winning. And that's not worth it. But here we have an interesting situation. Freiburg was thrashed by Stuttgart on the game day before the national team games, and Dortmund, fucked it up against Heidenheim. They were leading 2-0, and at the end they only managed to get a draw against a new team in the league. There is a really crisis in Dortmund after 3 games. They are considered not having a chance for being champion this year, for good reasons. They lost their best player with Bellingham, and the rest, they couldn't improve the team very much. I think they might trouble also here in Freiburg. As we've seen in the last season, Freiburg was not always really good at playing away. But they're one of the best home teams, and they were beating Bremen and Hoffenheim in the first 2 games after giving up to Stuttgart way too high. Anyway, Freiburg has a chance here to keep at least 1 point at home against a really weak Borussia Dortmund, as they didn't in the last games between these 2 teams. We always had a winner in the last 3 games called Dortmund. Last victory of Freiburg was before 4 games, and they won twice in these games. But anyway, I won't bet on Freiburg here, because for that I really don't like the odds. Still too low for a team like Freiburg at home against Dortmund. We are waiting for a reaction of Dortmund. They must win this game. It would be the 3rd game in a row they won't win if they don't win this game. That's way too bad for a team like Dortmund. I can't see a really attractive bet here, because the odds on Dortmund also are a bit too dangerous. I really like 2.0 on favorites playing somewhere, but in this situation Dortmund was missing to give us reasons to bet on them, so I keep my money for better bets. And for sure, this is a better bet. We have Wolfsburg losing at Hoffenheim 3-1, and we have Union Berlin losing at Leipzig 3-0, against Leipzig at home 3-0. But two different situations, as Leipzig is one of the best teams in the league and Hoffenheim is kind of an average team and even considered maybe to one of the 6 or 8 worst teams in the league. So Union Berlin still is a Champions League team, and Wolfsburg must prove that at home they can be better than last season, where they were not a really great home team. So I think betting on low Wolfsburg odds is no option here, as we favor Union Berlin, and Leonardo Bonucci should make his first game for Union Berlin. So I really like the draw no bet on the underdog here, 2.25 on Union Berlin. And then the game at 6:30 in the evening, and it's called a top game because it's shown on national television, but Frankfurt playing at Bochum is a game which is not very interesting to a lot of people in the Bundesliga, and is not a top game, as we see Bochum on spot 13 against Frankfurt on spot 5. Only one victory for Frankfurt, but at least no loss, and this is good because they have a good defense, only conceded 2 goals. And why should they concede a lot of goals against Bochum? So both teams to score can be a better option than both teams to score, as only 3 goals in 3 games of Bochum and only 3 goals of Frankfurt. And betting on a winner here for me has not really a huge value. The odds on Frankfurt Asian Handicap 0 of 1.7 are a bit too low, as Bochum showed that they can be a tough team to play at home. Dortmund can tell a story about that after their 1-1. So not impossible for Bochum to get points at home against Frankfurt, which was also not very impressive in this season so far. You see 1-1 against Cologne, 1-1 against Mainz, and winning against one of the worst team with Darmstadt. So Frankfurt just have to prove that they can be a dangerous team without Kolomuani. And I would rather see what they do instead of risking money on them. On Sunday we have 2 games. First of it, Heidenheim versus Werder Bremen. And here we have pure value after we saw a really attractive game of Werder Bremen at home against Mainz. Werder Bremen was scoring 4 games, and nevertheless their top scorer from last season, Niklas Füllkrug, was gone and signed at Dortmund. They managed to score 4 goals now, and the other results of Bremen also in Freiburg, they got a last minute goal and lost this game very close, and was not a bad game of them, and losing against Bayern Munich also is not a bad thing. So I think Werder Bremen is really worth a try, and we should have also in mind that Heidenheim was able to make a point against Dortmund for sure, scoring goals against Hoffenheim as well, but losing a friendly game against second league team Nürnberg shows that they have problems at least playing away. But at home I really liked Heidenheim, so I think they are able to make a point here. Anyway, after the last game of Werder Bremen, we find a lot of value in these odds, as Bremen has the higher odds, which is not true. I would even say a direct bet on a draw with odds of 4 has very much value. But we don't need that, just bet on Werder Bremen, Asian Handicap 0 or draw no bet with odds of 2. And this is a really interesting value bet, as everything I said before. And the last game of this game day is between Darmstadt and Mönchengladbach. Mönchengladbach had a good game at home against Bayern Munich, leading 1-0, and we thought this might be a surprise, but at the end, yeah, Bayern was winning and Gladbach was lucky, only conceding 2 goals. And you can't see it here, but you see that Darmstadt lost all of their 3 games, and Gladbach also didn't win a single game out of their 3, but now it should be the time for it, shouldn't it? And Gladbach should win this game, but the odds are a bit too low to bet on them. I think they might win, but you don't have to be a rocket scientist to say that. And in the other situation, the risk that Gladbach is showing a weak game again away, because they were such a bad away team last season, the risk is too high to waste money here. We have a lot of other very good bets here, and I sum it up for you. And these are my correct scores. Bayern Munich wins against Leverkusen 2-1, Leipzig wins 3-1, Freiburg, Dortmund 1-1, Wolfsburg, Union Berlin 1-2, and a bet on Union Berlin, Asian Handicap 0. Also Asian Handicap 0 on Stuttgart, because they might win against Mainz, 2-0 my pick. And correct score of Cologne versus Hoffenheim 1-1, but I tend to see a Hoffenheim value here, that's why also here to try, maybe it falls to Hoffenheim. And Frankfurt should win at Bochum, but be aware of Bochum, that's why I don't bet here. Heiddenheim, Bremen, I think Bremen should continue their good run and win here 2-1, and at the end Gladbach must win at Darmstadt. I think 2-0 is a reasonable result. What do you think? Write your comment in with your results and your best picks, and let's get to the Acca. And if you haven't, subscribe and like this video. Thanks. I have 2 different Accas, one with Asian Handicap 0 and one very risky one with Asian Handicap -1. And the first one has 7.2 in odds and the second one 84 for only these 3 bets on Asian Handicap -1 on Hoffenheim, Bremen and Gladbach.